Welcome to the Boss and Roll channel. If you want to support my daily Eternal Magic offerings while getting amazing perks like the Boss and Roll Discord community, have me play your deck on the channel, or listen sideboard guides before tournaments, check out the Patreon or YouTube membership program. This channel is possible because of these amazing sponsors. Check them out, all their links are in the video description. As always, thanks for being here. Let's go play some Magic. Welcome back to the Boss and Roll channel. Today I'm playing Legacy at the request of subscriber Ryan. This is Insidious Roots. This was a brew challenge. Ryan just wanted to see Roots in action in Legacy, and I took a lot of inspiration from a list that recently 5-0'd a Modern League featuring Overlord of the Baelmerk, Hot and Fresh from Duskmourn. This is a 5-mana 5/5 with Impending 5. Impending means you can cast this for its impending cost, it enters with 5 time counters, and isn't a creature until the last is removed, and you remove one in your end step. When this enters or attacks mill 4 cards, then you can return a non-avatar creature or planeswalker from your graveyard to your hand. That is cool, because one of the big problems with these Asmo food decks, shout out Asmoran here, is that if you don't have Ovalchase Daredevil, they're pretty bad. They're also pretty bad if you don't have Asmo, and Overlord can dig for both. The engine we're trying to get online here is Underworld Cookbook, discard a card, make a food. Ovalchase Daredevil, when an artifact enters, you can return this from your graveyard to your hand, which means you could tap Underworld Cookbook for a food, basically, because this goes to the graveyard and immediately returns to your hand because it made an artifact. Insidious Roots reads, creature tokens you control have tap, add 1 mana of any color, and whenever 1 or more creatures leave your graveyard, make a 0/1 plant, and then put a +1 counter on each plants you control. That adds another layer to the food. We tap, make a food, get back Daredevil, make a 0/1 plant that immediately becomes a 1/2 and taps for mana starting next turn. If you have 2 cookbooks in play, then you have a 2/3 plant, a 1/2 plant, 2 more mana next turn, and 2 foods, etc., etc. It scales like that. Urza Saga can tutor Cookbook. Urza Saga also a great way to win the game if you have a million foods laying around, because your constructs will be huge. Constructs, conveniently tokens that tap for mana in case that becomes important. Malevolent Rumble, another relatively new card being added to this deck. Reveal the top 4 cards of your library. You may put a permanent from among them into your hand, put the rest into your graveyard, make a 0/1 spawn. Permanent is pretty wide. That is a wide net to cast. The only cards in the deck that are not permanents are my 4 Fatal Pushes and 2 Thoughtseizes. We could get anything else. Street Wraith is here to turn on Asmo. That's how you could turn 1 this thing. Finale of Devastation. Asmo's mana value is 0, so for GG, you can go get Asmo from your deck or graveyard. And theoretically, if you roots hard enough, you could actually X is equals 10 this and overrun. And for fun, and a shout out to friend of the show, Alex Ullman, there is 1 copy of Tortured Existence in this deck. A single black enchantment. Black, discard a card, or discard a creature card, return target creature card from your graveyard to your hand. That means if you have a creature in your hand and a creature in the graveyard, you could pay X black and make X 0/1 plants that all get +1/+1 every turn. That just seemed like a fun way to cash out in the mid game here. This is a card that is not legal in Modern, where most of this deck is legal in Modern. This is a big upgrade into the Legacy card pool. I spent a long time on Scryfall trying to find something really exciting to recur with this. I was searching for anything that enters the battlefield and draws a card, anything that triggers when it leaves your graveyard. I really wanted something with Reach and Death Touch to fend off Psychic Frogs infinitely. The best I could come up with was Deadly Recluse, though, unfortunately, which doesn't draw a card. Turned out that was a pretty thin category, but I spent a lot of time looking. Hopefully we pop off with Tordax at least a few times in this league. The Malevolent Rumbles can dig for it, and once we find it, we get to go. The list I was inspired by from the Modern 5-0 deck dump had a Reanimator package. They had 4 Archon of Cruelty and 4 Persist, which I could have just upgraded those to Reanimates and called it a day. But I really wanted to do something other than play Reanimator in this league, because that's the best deck right now, and we're trying to do something a little different. Those are my thoughts and reasons for the things we're doing. Let's get in. This is Golgari Asmo Food. You ever need some cheap little odds and ends for your deck, but shipping costs more than the entire order? Card Trader solves that problem with their innovative Card Trader Zero system. They act as your personal P.O. box, collecting orders from sellers all over the world to send you one easy package. I ordered from 4 sellers in 3 different countries. Card Trader gathered the cards for me, keeping me updated throughout the process, then sent one affordable package to my house. Make the whole world your TCG marketplace with cardtrader.com. Use code BOSHANDROLL for 5% off your first order. I'm on the play in round number 1. I am going to keep this hand. I have Fatal Push and Endurance if they're on one of the best decks in the format, and I have a Saga game plan if they're not. Let's go. Malevolent Rumble's pretty exciting. Underground Sea. Ponder. Well, Underground Sea is one of the cards that indicates we're playing against the best deck in the format, or at least some permutation thereof. Endurance is good versus both Reanimator and Doomsday. My plan here is to fetch the Surveil land and then play Saga and cast Roots, or Rumble. I'm not ready for Roots yet. You could do that anytime. Asmo. Do I want this? I guess I'll take it. The Saga, when it reaches its conclusion, can tutor for the cookbook. I could even find a cookbook right now, then cast it off of the Eldrazi. Ooh, this is worth a Force of Will. Force Pitching Force. Okay, you got it. That was of moderate importance to me. Wasteland, that's pretty good. Please go after the Urza Saga, not the green source. Tilt! That was a good decision. Overlord, that I can't play. Well, this is going to get ugly. I'm still going to play my land, even though this is horrible. There is an Urborg in my deck that could save me. Entomb. Dumped an Archon. I am holding Endurance, and I have a green card I can pitch. They forced Pitching Force. There are only 2 forces left in the deck right now. But if they just had 3 of them in the opening hand, it would make sense. If they don't have 3 of them in the opening hand, then I think forcing a Rumble that aggressively is wild. All right, deck. Please give me a colored mana source. We did it. Magic's easy. Float a colorless off the thing that's about to pop. And I could just get Nile Spellbomb here. So I will. I'm going to get Nile Spellbomb. I'm going to fetch probably Basic Swamp. And I'm just going to make a construct. I can activate Nile Spellbomb without drawing a card if I have to. Psychic Frog, there's that. The inclusion of Fatal Push and Endurance in my main deck is for this reason. Another one. A tutor. I have a currency converter. But is that better than Cookbook? It may or may not be. I actually don't even know. I think I'm going to take Cookbook. I'm pretty close to getting that engine online. I'm going to Fatal Push now while I can play around Daze. Okay, we got through. Missed a land drop, but I am pushing damage here. I have another push for their next Frog. I have the Spellbomb on board for this Archon. Undercity Sewers. Kept the card. Terrifying. Another Frog. Okay. Yep. I, too, would keep that card. I could make a food right now, just discard this Overlord of the Baelmerk, which makes my construct bigger. Ooh, that's a good draw. Okay, so if they discard their whole hand, Frog would be 4/5. I'm going to attack with my construct. They can't afford to block here. Correct. I'm going to Fatal Push before damage. They haven't blocked. Like, we're in blocks. They've missed their chance to block. Now I'm going to push and decide how aggressive I want to be this turn. And the answer is none. Okay. None aggressive. Okay, they haven't played a Wasteland in a while. I'm going to go for the other Surveil land here. What is this? Petty Theft. That's fine. Okay. Mortuary. Bayou. I'll keep Bayou around. Okay, I could discard something and do some Asmo stuff here. I could just hold up Endurance. I could play Insidious Roots and pass with black mana up. Yeah, I think I'm going to cast Roots. This turns off Endurance, but I don't need it right now. And then next turn, when I Overlord, I can start making Dinguses and pull ahead. They got that Brazen Borrower over there. I'm leaving Spellbomb uncracked. You can't make me do it. Uh-oh. Speaking of cracked. Oval Chase Daredevil. Discard this. Make a food. Trigger. Now the fireworks start. Unless they main deck Fairy Macabre. Okay. Another Brazen Borrower. That is fine. stopped me from making a plant this turn, but it did turn Endurance back on. Okay, snapped off that Fatal Push. That's fine. Tutor another Cookbook, and I will invest the second Cookbook here. I'm still not going to play into Daze. They got one card left. I'm worried about very little right now. And this Endurance can beat these Brazen Borrowers just by itself. And step, make a food. Okay, there's that. Bayou. This lets me play Roots. And I was already over Daze, so it's probably not worried about anything here. Okay, I'm just going to pass, and in the end step, when they cast one of these Brazen Borrowers, I'll make 2 foods. Daredevil, trigger, and I can eat a food to race the Brazen Borrower if they interact with the Endurance. I'm also just winning a combat race pretty easily with how these plants are going to scale up. I can also bomb myself if I want another plant real quick. I'm not going to do that, but it is available. Okay, I take 3. I am just going to eat a food in the end step. I'm not doing anything else with this mana. Street Wraith. I'm going to play the Overlord. This looks like a good spot to deploy this thing. At minimum, it can grab Asmo. It can only get Asmo. Literally no other options. Unlike other cards printed in the last few years, you mill 4 and then you can get back any card rather than from among the milled things. I'm discarding a bunch of cards. My plants are huge. Asmo's back. And if she resolves for even a second, even if they kill it right away, I can kill this Brazen Borrower. I have so many foods. And now I'm just going to attack with my 9 power worth of creatures, and I don't know how we can lose this game. That Brazen Borrower is certainly not going to do it. Fatal Pushing Asmo. I'm just going to kill the Brazen Borrowers on the way out. If they had sequenced that the other way, they could have kept the second Brazen Borrower. Not that it matters. Okay, so the 2 cards in their hand have to beat Nile Spellbomb. At 3 life. Reanimating Archon. They're at 3. Resolves. Cool. Alright. Onto the sideboard. I like Endurance. I like Choke. I like Fairy Macabre. I like Sheoldred's Edict. There are a lot of cards I like in the sideboard. Am I going to have room for all this? That was a great showcase of game 1, though. I think Rumble is kind of the worst card here. If I'm boarding this heavily, I could shave a Overlord, shave a Street Wraith. Wraith is dangerous against reanimate decks, because if I just want to draw a card and then they reanimate an unblockable 3/4. We got a wow, this is really spicy in the chat. I concur. It is quite the spice. I like the Roots because they pitch to Endurance, which is something I might have to do. And I am cutting a big pile of Rumbles. Maybe Currency Converter can go. That's a little grindy for a matchup that might be about combo. I'm going to shave another Wraith. I'm worried about that card. Okay, let's go. Sick thing, though, is if they reanimate one of my creatures, Roots triggers. Got him. I'm going to keep... We got the Tordex. This hand does have a slow engine card and 2 multi-step payoff things, which I'm a little worried about, but I do like the Thoughtseize and the Fatal Push a lot. Those 2 are doing a lot of work in terms of keeping this hand. Did not shuffle their Ponder. Alright, well, here's the thing I was worried about, but I am going to cycle, because if I can find access to basic forest, I won't play out the Urborg, but I guess I have to play the Urborg. Thoughtseize ya. Alright, they do have a Wasteland, hate that for me. 2 Fatal Pushes, Nile Spellbomb. Am I more worried about Spellbomb or Reanimate? I think it's definitely Reanimate. Sucks that I'm going to get Wastelanded here, but I tried to play around it. Ooh, they didn't Wasteland. Good. What does that actually mean? What card did they just draw? Interesting. Okay, so I can slam the Overlord here, or get Roots going. I think it's just Overlord. And I'm going to fetch for basic forest, which is currently also a swamp. But it won't be once they Wasteland me. Should I just get a Bayou? Yeah, I'm just going to get a Bayou. I guess if I'm going to do that, I shouldn't have fetched at all. Alright, Overlord, get in there. And once this trigger resolves, it happens all at once. Like, they can't mill 4, then bomb me. And if they let this resolve, I get back Street Wraith at minimum. If they bomb first, then I get 4 fresh looks. We've got Daredevil and Street Wraith. I'll take the Wraith back. I already got Daredevils. I'm Devil Flooded. And this will tick down to my end step. There's a 5/5 Looming. There's 1 card in their hand we don't know right now. And we know they didn't want Force of Will. Brainstorm. Well, that gets rid of all the information that I worked so hard to earn. I would have loved for their hand to just be a bunch of Fatal Pushes for a while. I care very little about that. The Overlord immediately being a cantrip with Street Wraith is fun deck building. Yep, there goes Bayou. I get 2 looks at my next land here. Thoughtseize. I'm going to cycle first. Macabre. All right, well, 4-card hand. We don't know that these are Fatal Pushes anymore because they just brainstormed. Entomb in response. Well, it was nice of me to just draw Fairy Macabre. Good job, me. Ghost Vacuum, Fatal Push. I don't want to play against Ghost Vacuum. A card that I mostly think is silly, but it is really good at being exactly half of an unlicensed source. Uh-oh. Mana in the pool. Did they draw Reanimate? This is a random draw. They just shuffled. They did draw Reanimate. That was pretty good. I'm going to take out Archon, and I don't think I care about anything else. Guess I'll target Brainstorm. It really doesn't matter. Okay, Reanimate fizzles. There's the Swamp. Their hand is Fatal Push. They can redraw at will. Can we get something going? Perhaps. I can at least resolve Tortured Existence. Alex Allman, shout out, dude. This is your shit. And this is cool because once I untap with this, I can start bullying the Nile Spellbomb. Ponder, that's so good. Anyone who registers Ponder when I didn't is cheating. I'm just going to call it now. Cheaters. They did not shuffle the Ponder. They did find Wasteland. Okay. It's going to make it hard to bully the Spellbomb now. But my 5/5 is 2 turns away. Ooh, take a look in a book. And this triggers that one. Forgot that was even in there. Okay. They have been convinced on the Spellbomb. I have another one of those. I have many of those, in fact. Does stink that they wastelanded me, though, because I could have discarded another Daredevil, got back Fairy Macabre to Tordax, and then discarded the 3rd Devil and got back all 3 of them in response. Barrogoyf. Uh-oh. That's scary. Fetch land stabilizes immediately. Another Overlord. Uh-oh. Really nothing going on here. Okay, I guess I'm just passing. This Overlord can block the Barrogoyf. It does die. It doesn't have any other special words on it. It's just a 5/5. But I will take that if the alternative is getting clowned by Barrogoyf. Oh, come on. Okay, they miracled Metamorphosis Fanatic with no creatures in the graveyard. Oh, shit. Well, now we're dead. The unknown card in hand was Entomb, and they just flipped Metamorphosis Fanatic. Is Atraxa still in the deck, I guess is a fair question, because I already exiled the Archon, and they might be on a partial juke here. Troll of Khazad-dûm. That's going to be hard to beat. Yeah, we're super dead. Shit. It looked good for a minute there. Okay. If they attack, I just trade. Can't afford to let that thing go nuts. Can't really afford to do anything here, but if I draw Asmo, I can kill Troll right now. I can also Tordax the Overlord back because I have multiple Daredevils. All right, we've activated Tordax at least once in this league. Asmo? Fetch land. Well, that's 10 damage, and my life is at 11. If I fetch, I die. I can eat a food to try to stay alive. I can resolve Insidious Roots. Oh, that's actually really good. That keeps the Metamorphosis Fanatic at bay. And because I discarded the Daredevil last turn, 2 creatures will come back, triggering Roots twice. Their hand right now is Fatal Push. Should I just do this now in case they draw Graveyard Hate? Yeah, probably. All right. I will do this now in case they draw Graveyard Hate. If they draw removal, none of it mattered, but I can at least play around one thing. Okay, Roots, and pass. If there's an engine that can stabilize here, it's this one. Okay, they're attacking. I'm going to block with my small plant. I know they can just Fatal Push the big one whenever they want, but let's at least do this. What are my good draws here? It's cycling Troll. So their hand is still just Fatal Push. I think just like a Swamp. Does that even do it? Oh, my plants tap for mana now. That's so sick. Okay. Well, I'm gonna discard Daredevil. I'll start with that. And in response, or I have another cookbook now. I don't need to respond. I will just bring this back and then play another cookbook. I'm not convinced if I can beat a Fatal Push here, but I'm not going to do the math until I have to. I'm just going to pass the turn. This plant making mana is sick. I can make 1, 2, 3. Brainstorm's so good. It's always so good. Okay, they're pushing this one before combat. I kind of needed that to happen. That gets the push out of the way in a spot where I can spend mana. So I'm going to discard Daredevil, make a food. Oh, shit. Oh, no. I must have set a stop. Shit. I just fucked this. I needed that to be in the graveyard so I could toward exit. God damn it. I just set a stop that didn't need to be there. I guess I'm eating a food here. I really wish that was 3 more plant tokens, 2 more plant tokens. All right, I'm going to 1. Do they have another Fatal Push? Okay. All right, well, might not have mattered in that case, but definitely, I think I set a stop earlier on that to get through it faster, and then it blew me out there. We were so close, though. I mean, it took 2 Wastelands. If I had a 3rd land just on that Nile Spellbomb turn, we are never, ever, ever losing that game. That was cool. The Tortured Existence really stepping up, though. Okay, this is a bunch of basics if I want them. I probably do. I can resolve Existence on turn 1. I'm going to keep this. Blue-black, not known for their answers to enchantments, though we have seen 2 Brazen Borrowers. I am not set up to fight the graveyard, but they've seen Fairy Macabre, so hopefully they have to pump the brakes a little bit. Nile Spellbomb, disappointing. Okay. Well, let's make them have it. Just going to get my engine set up here. Didn't daze me. Happy with that. I have Cookbook Daredevil. Obviously they have Spellbomb, but I can make them pop it. And if I draw a creature, any creature, I can dance around the Spellbomb. They got a Brainstorm and a Polluted Delta. Any creature, but especially a Daredevil? Okay, that is not any creature. It is a powerful engine, though. I've got my cookbook. I'm going to loot my Daredevil right now, because they don't get to draw a card with the Spellbomb if they use it here. Cool. Found a little window to do that. I don't know if that's good enough, but I found a window to do that. Oh no, untap Swamp, that's Entomb. Shit. Please play around Fairy Macabre, even though I think it's pretty clear that... No, that's not true. I'm not going to say it's clear I don't have it, because that's just never clear. That's the thing about Fairy Macabre. It's invisible at all times. Psychic Frog, I'm ready for that one. They are going to know there's only 1 unknown card in my hand after this exchange, though. Another Roots. I could also get Asmo here. Yeah, I'm actually going to do that. Tap for green, Finale of Devastation for 0. Because this is my only real out to an Archon. And the second cookbook protects the Daredevil. I could just discard a different card and buy it back. Discard Daredevil. They can make me go Hellbent here, if they're willing to pop the Spellbomb without drawing a card. And it seems they are. All right, I'll discard this other Roots, which triggers this again. Okay, they know all the information they need here. If they have Fatal Push plus Reanimate, they're going to have an Archon that I can't kill. But if they just Reanimate, I can clear the Archon. I have plenty of creatures to sacrifice. And the hooks are in if they can't break it up. Well, Ratchet Bomb's pretty fucked. They could kill Asmo and all my foods and all my tokens right now. And that does appear to be the plan. Okay, nasty. That's not a Reanimate, though. Not yet, anyway. And Ratchet Bomb. That is. Dirty Pool, opponent. I'm just going to do this now. While I can't really do anything about it. I am going to play out this land for the card selection off the Surveil lands, even though it shows the shields are down. But I'd rather make a good play than try to sell a bluff that isn't even worth buying. Brainstorm and no play, no spell, no shuffle. Their hand has 5 spells that they can't cast right now. Endurance, right on the tippity top. That's what I'm looking for in life right now. I'm going to attack with my big plant. And I'm going to make some... Yeah, I'm going to make it bigger as we go. I'm leaving back the other plant so I can endurance through days. They have not had a days yet, but this is the first turn of the game where they haven't really done anything else with their mana. And 5 cards in hand, none of them are shuffles, none of them are spells. Days could be a card that they're representing. Metamorphosis Fanatic setup. Okay. Hate that. Let's try this endurance. I guess I should let this target first. The crazy thing is, with the Tord X, if I had another green card in hand, I could actually endurance twice right now, even through Force of Will. Okay, well, that's not the game we're going to play. And they're going to get an Archon. And I might as well buy back a creature here. And I lose it anyway, but I'm going to discard all of it, and this at least gives me another token. And there is an Asmo in the graveyard. If I draw any creature, I can kill Archon this turn. I'd sack my smallest plant, discard the endurance. Oh wait, I have 2 cookbooks in play, and 4 Birds of Paradise. I can get back Asmo regardless. Okay. Any creature is my preferred line here. Not a creature. Okay, so I can use Cookbook to get back Oval Chase Daredevil, and then tort that away, get Asmo. Okay, Oval Chase Daredevil. Doing it this way just gets me some extra pals on the way through. So I can make an extra food here, get this back. Tortured Existence, targeting Asmo. Discard the Devil. They're going to need another Force of Will to break this up. Asmo. Don't do it to me. We're in there. Okay, tutor another Cookbook, which I'm just going to cast. You can't stop me. Haven't had a days yet this game. Daredevil's coming back. Holy smokes. Holy smokes. I will make yet another thing here. And I am just going to pass the turn. I don't want them to be able to miracle another Fanatic. So I'm going to wait until they either target Asmo with a removal spell or move into combat to kill all their stuff. And I only have to kill the Archon. I'm just bigger than the Metamorphosis Fanatic. I have a 5/6 and a 4/5 in play. Tortured Existence. What a card. Okay, we're in the beginning of combat. Archon is going to fight itself. It does have lifelink, which means they gain life off of this thing dealing 6 to itself. That's pretty annoying. But I don't care about 6 life here. Look at these things. Look at all these creatures. They're so big, and there's so many of them. Okay, that's dead. You can attack. I'll just block with my 5/6. Brainstorm. If they find another Reanimate, they can put this thing back into play right now. I'll just kill it again. Found a Polluted Delta. Ponder. And starting next turn, I have a ton of endurances. I can fire at them through the Tortured Existence, because every one of these represents a creature. We got the GGs, though. And GGs they were. What a sick showcase of this deck. Wow. We really did it. Tortured Existence, MVP. On to the next round.
This video is sponsored by Moxfield.com, the easiest way to build Magic decks online. Moxfield supports over 30 formats, including Legacy and everything else you'll see on this channel. There's multiple customizations so you can interact with your deck how you want. Views such as text, grid, or stacks, and groupings like type, subtype, color, color identity, even artist. The site offers light mode, dark mode, and so much more. However you want to see your deck, Moxfield can provide it for you. Follow my Moxfield to keep up with the channel and what I'm playing in paper. I'll see you there.
I'm on the play in round 2. I'm going to keep my hand. I've got Cookbook and Asmo. Don't have the Daredevil yet, but Rumble gives me 4 looks at it. I'm going to go basic Swamp Cookbook here. It is technically better to use Polluted Delta to get the basic Swamp, because Verdant Catacombs is the one that can get anything. But Misty Rainforest can also get Forest. In this particular case, it doesn't matter that much, but if we're being tight. Ancient Tomb. Are we Eldrazi? Are we Stompy? What are we doing? Chalice on 1. Okay. My 1-drop's already in play. We did it. Chalice on 0. Oh no! That one I care a lot about. The Finale can get me in Asmo anyway, but I did not play to that world. Alright, Cycling Street Wraith. Cookbook.
going to get Basic, Forest, and then Rumble. Bayou, I milled over 2 spells that I can't cast. The nuts. I'll take Bayou here. And I'll pass. I can Finale next turn. I'm probably going to discard Asmo to Cookbook now, because I can't cast her. Oh, I can Finale her out of the graveyard even. That's so cool. Please don't play Thought-Knot Seer. Glaring Fleshraker. I don't like that either. But at least I still have my Asmo. End step, discard you, make a food. Deck, can we draw the Daredevil? Urza Saga. That card's really good, but it doesn't get this Asmo into play. Okay, Finale for 0. I'll take this one. Tutor another Cookbook, might as well. And I'll discard this Cookbook to the first one and kill Fleshraker. This might be aggressive to go after it that hard, but I know what that card does. I've read it. That Chalice on 0 is really heads-up read, though. Opponent identified that Cookbook goes with Asmo. Asmo costs 0. Not a normal play you'd make, but they had just enough information to do that. Nice work. I kind of love drawing one of the Overlords. I have 5 mana. I could just cast it next turn. It's right in there. It's not impending. It's simply here. I tried to think about what I could do in this matchup when I was building, and I figured just Asmo food was probably my best plan. There's not a good black or green Blood Moon style effect. I'm playing Choke, but obviously that doesn't help here. K-Command, that's rough. Okay, well, Asmo's dead. Opponent gets to scry and draw. This K-Command would have been a million damage, though, if this Fleshraker was in play, so Asmo did something. But I need a good draw here. Overlord? Oh no. Another uncastable Asmo. Can Urza Saga win this game on its own? I have Currency Converter I can get and start impacting the board. Nope, they have Wasteland. Never mind. I have nothing. I have nothing at all. I could sack my Cookbook to get back Straight Wraith as an emergency redraw, but I really don't want to do that. Damage is in. Daredevil? Overlord? Mortuary. Alright, I'll try that. Roots. I will actually keep that, because that is the type of thing that could get something going. Chalice on 0 and 1. That's a 2-drop engine. Obviously, if they just cast some 7-drop here, I'm dead. Fleshraker. 2 cards left. They don't have to be very good with Fleshraker, though. Ooh, no spell cast at all. Interesting. Life total quickly diminishing. A Polluted Delta. Insidious Roots. My Spawn taps for any color. Just upgraded that little homie. I'm going to try to survive the turn to a point where I can Underground Mortuary and get another look at a Daredevil. I can just spend 4 to return Street Wraith to my hand and get a Roots trigger. That would be such a miserable emergency play. I can't imagine winning a game where I have to do that, but it is available. It's a lot of mana in the pool. Devour. That kills my Roots. Okay. I will fetch for Underground Mortuary in response. See if I can hit some sort of miracle. Cookbook into the graveyard. Okay. We've lost this one. The double Chalice do good. Okay, we also got to see a feature of what this deck looks like when you don't have Daredevil, which did not come up in the first match at all. Okay, now Spellbomb's not for this matchup. Shadow Spear is. Sheoldred's Edict, I could see arguments for. Force of Vigor. The problem with Force of Vigor is that it doesn't do much, but in exactly a spot like they have double Chalice of the Void to start the game, it's really good. I don't really need Endurance, and it's smaller than their creatures. Am I trying to Thoughtseize them? Am I going to Fatal Push them? There's one Boseiju in the deck if I don't want to go in on Force of Vigor, but I think I have to. I'm on the play where Thoughtseize could take something like that before it pops off. Yeah, I think I'm going to shave another Street Wraith. Matchup's too fast for Currency Converter, even though it would have been good in that particular game we just played. Overlord would have been good. Finale gets through Chalice. No matter what they put Chalice on, I'll just pay X until I'm happy. I could shave a push or a Thoughtseize. Kind of just making my removal worse on average if I board out. Yeah, I'm going to cut a Thoughtseize. All right, just more removal. Let's try this. That's a lot of Asmos. Maybe too many. No, I'll keep it. Let's go. Let's get her in. Opponent's got a Devourer of Destiny to start the game. I'm going to start by cycling Wraith. I want to play around Wasteland, but I am worried that I won't cast any more spells this game, but it's a risk I have to take. Tutor a Cookbook, and hope I draw a land next turn that casts Malevolent Rumble, and hope Rumble flips Daredevil. That's the line I'm playing towards. I would not fault anyone who mulligans this hand. But Street Wraith could be anything, even a second land. They exiled Wasteland Herald Kozilek's Command. That's scary. Pitching Kozilek's Command makes me feel like they already have one, because for 0 you could kill this. Once Upon a Time, alright. This deck is so crazy. With the Vow of Destiny Once Upon a Time in your keep, you don't even know what your hand is when you keep it. It's very exciting, but you see a lot of cards. They basically had 2 hands. They've seen 8 cards between these 2 things. Ouch. Okay, deck. Really need that land here. Always had it, Magic's easy. It sucks that it's Boseiju specifically because that kills Chalice, but I am going to Rumble. And I'll take Urza's Saga and get in there. I am attacking with a 3-power 1-drop. Delver of Secrets in the house. I think it's crazy to hold Boseiju there and hope to find another green source to then channel Boseiju and then 3 turns from now cast 1-drop. I just don't think that's realistic, even though it sucks. Thought-Knot Seer. Have a look. They're going to take Roots here because it's the only spell. Maybe I was supposed to play Roots last turn. Is that possible? But without the Cookbook, does that even matter? I milled over the Tortured Existence. The Chalice has me locked out there. Yep, Roots is gone. Roots are gone. Saga. Feeling pretty bad about the game here, not going to lie. If they have Wasteland here, we're basically dead. If Saga actually gets to tick up and do some stuff, we might be competing. Yeah, I feel like I was supposed to play Roots last turn. Didn't even occur to me. I was just so excited to slam the Rumble. But Roots would have made the spawn tap for mana, but they probably would have taken Rumble with Thought-Knot, so I wouldn't have the spawn. Fleshraker with Eye of Ugin in play. Yikes. They could cast their whole hand and kill me here. Good start. Lotus Petals 2 mana and a damage. They can cast Devour of Destiny here, which boops Asmo, and then they're attacking. Even if they don't dump their whole hand, that's probably good enough to win. Yep, that sucks. I go to 14 from all that. They're about to attack with Thought-Knot that I'm not going to block, so I go to 10 from all that. Saga ticks up here, and I drew another card I can't play. Alright, we're dead. Yeah, that was tough. Chalice on 0. Shockingly effective against my deck. On to the next round.
The Bosch and Roll channel is proudly partnered with The Resleevables.
Good. All right, here we go, gang.
In this YouTube series, hosts Cedric Phillips and Patrick Sullivan take us on a set-by-set journey through the good, the bad, and the ugly of Magic's history. Each episode is a focused deep dive into the facts about a set's design and release, the Magic lore expressed through the cards in that set, Tournament Edition gameplay videos featuring products and Pro Tour decks of the era, an award show that shouts out the best and weirdest cards of the set, and a final grade for the set's overall success. Whether you want a history lesson or a nostalgia hit, The Resleevables has it at youtube.com/theresleevables.
On the play for round 3, turn 1 Asmo, in. Let's go. I can play on basic lands. I like all those things. I actually am going to fetch before I Wraith, because I don't want to draw that basic swamp, and I could still cast Thoughtseize if I draw it. I think Thoughtseize is the only thing I would pivot onto there. And even that I'd have to think about. I'd probably still play Asmo. Not knowing the matchup, there's not that many busted combo decks, like in terms of meta share, that I need to have the Thoughtseize on turn 1. Lush Portico. Okay, so lands, depths, maybe some Uro deck. Okay, lands or depths. Now I get to execute on kind of the cool thing here. Rumble. Love to find a Daredevil, and we found 2 of them. I will take Verdant Catacombs. Or no, I'm going to take Daredevil. Because I have to discard something to start the chain. Or no, I don't. Oh, shit. The Cookbook actually starts the chain. I just lost out on a completely free Verdant Catacombs. That was bad. All right, don't do that. In for 3, engine completely online with roots in hand right now. Dryad Arbor, that's dangerous. They're going to crop rotate away immediately, I suspect. Yeah, and get Karakas. Ooh, Savannah. So they must have a Swords to Plowshares if they didn't go for Karakas there, because they have to answer Asmo if they're green-white depths. That deck just does not function versus an active Food Mother. Ending my cookbook. Bold. Perhaps even reckless. Okay, I blew it. I could have Roots plus Cookbook going here, but the Thoughtseize is a good draw. Path, Plow, Crop Rotation, Depths, Sylvan Library. Well, I can't beat Sylvan Library. I'm going to take that. Underground Mortuary. Do I want Bayou? I don't think so. Fresh Cookbook. I'm just going to cook my book now where they can't crop rotate for Bojuka Bog. Okay, in. I'm a little worried about that Depths. There it is. This is too many Daredevils. And the second one is nice because we know they can get Bojuka Bog. I don't think they even care about Asmo is part of the problem here. Okay, I'm gonna Cookbook in their upkeep. I think that's the most awkward spot to make them crop rotation. If they're gonna even do it. They might not care. If they just hit any land drop here, I am under threat of Merit Lage. I can eat 2 foods next turn with the mana I have, but that's not enough to actually win. Alright, please don't draw literally any land. Sad. Okay. Well, that's bad news. Hey, what can I draw here? Endurance doesn't help because they have Path. Second Asmo certainly doesn't help. If I don't attack, it's very obvious that I don't have an answer. So I have to at least attack and represent that I'm not afraid of this. Dark Depths. If they just go for it, they got me. These don't have reach, do they? They do not. Oh, they went for Savannah. That's fascinating. Are they just going to like cast a Endurance or something that dies to Asmo? Oh, they had 2 crop rotations. Why do that? Why do that at all? It just removes the Savannah from the deck, I guess. Okay. Or to mess with me. Okay, here I can eat 2 foods, go to 20 and die. All right, they found the line. Depths. I have Pithing Needle, Shadow Spear, Sheoldred's Edict. Sheoldred's Edict is the best one here. Endurance doesn't matter much. Nile Spellbomb has some text, but I still don't think I'm that interested in it. Thoughtseize, Fatal Push. They do have a bunch of creatures in their deck, traditionally. Again, Currency Converter. Someday we'll find a match for it, but it's not this one. In we go. My hand doesn't do a lot. It does present a bunch of Urza Sagas. I guess I'll keep this. I'm going to go land Cookbook and pass. Last game, they Prismatic Ending to Cookbook. We'll see if we can get them on the hook for something like that again. Mox Diamond, Yavimaya, which means this swamp is now a bayou for me, that they can't wasteland. Wraith. All right, I will refire Wraith, just in case. Thoughtseize. I think Thoughtseize is a later problem, and I need to Fatal Push now. They could crop rotate for Sajiri Step, but if they do that, it's a crop rotation they don't have. They are doing it. The problem is, if I wait until their upkeep to tax the crop rotation, then they just activate Reclaimer instead for the same effect and get it totally for free. Unfortunately, Urza Saga doesn't have for black, so I couldn't Thoughtseize and check first. Flagstones, they just got the whole engine online, while I have no engine online. Basic Forest, I'm not unhappy to see that. I can do some Saga stuff over the next turn cycle and see what the game looks like, but it probably looks like I'm facing down Merit Lage and in a ton of trouble. Or they could just get Wasteland now. They got Lush Portico with the Flagstone trigger, dumped a Windswept Heath, and they got Stage, which can also copy my Urza Saga if they don't have Depths, but they can always have Depths because that's how Elvish Reclaimer works. If the Depths is just in their hand or they have a crop rotation, they can have it now. I can tutor Pithing Needle and name Thespian Stage if I get to that point. They're representing Merit Lage here. Okay, they went with Knight of the Reliquary instead, which is scary. Make a construct. There's a lot of Thoughtseizes. I think I just have to keep piling constructs out here. Tutor the Needle, name Thespian Stage. Play another Saga. if I had planned this out better, I could have made a food in the end step. I don't think I'm gonna get many chances to Thoughtseize them this game, and I do need to be bigger than them. They could just get Wasteland now and take out my Saga, and then I have no real plan to play, but I also have no real plan to be bigger than a Knight of the Reliquary. We've got an Echoing Deeps coming in as my Urza Saga. Embarrassing. Another Knight. Yikes. Did I put Perish in my sideboard? I did not. My deck's normally full of green creatures, but haven't had a Daredevil yet this game. I'm going to dump a Thoughtseize. I think we're past that card being useful, certainly in multiples. Mortuary. Happy to see that. Okay, opponent is knighting now. Probably going to get Wasteland if they're doing it right now. And this is before Saga knows how to make constructs. It does tap for green, though. I'll at least take that for the road. Mortuary. Yo! Into the graveyard. Okay, we successfully demonic tutored for Ovalchase Daredevil. My constructs can cast Thoughtseize right now. It's not very good, though. They can also cast Roots, though, which is pretty good. Second Roots. I'm going to pass here and see if I could get some action in the end step, because Bojuka Bog's actually devastating right now. Please activate your Reclaimer. I'm playing Priority Chicken, and if they just go to their turn and untap, they probably win easily. Tilt. Okay. Yeah, they just have everything covered. That's why I tried to fight over the first Reclaimer. One card left in hand. 21 power in play. If they just attack with everything, I have to chump block Knight. Okay, they're doing something before blocks here with the Reclaimer. Let's see what this ends up being. Talon Gates. Okay, they should have waited till after blocks for that, because I am going to have two blockers, unless their last card in hand is Crop Rotation. This was face up. So either they made a plan for it or didn't realize it could happen, are the only possible outcomes. Okay, trigger my Roots. My construct phases out. Now I can go to blocks. Do I want to go to 8 and keep a plant around, or just chump both and try to have some extra material? I think I want the material. I'm going to block one of these and go to 8. Good draws in my deck right now include, I guess, Asmo, and in another cookbook would get the Roots going. The Overlord would be cool. The Knight once again represents Bojuka Bog, though, if they even care about that. They appear to be tapping mana, which is a sign they don't really care about that. Zenith for 2. Alright, if there's a Collector Oof in the deck, we lose to that, which there should be. It's very good. Okay, I'll give myself one draw step to find Fatal Push, or then concede. Rumble. Alright. Saying there's a chance. I don't even know what I'm rumbling for. Boseiju, Shadowspear, Daredevil. Boseiju doesn't help. Shadowspear doesn't help. Yep, we're dead. Okay. GG. The Collector Roof at the end broke up my engine, but we were doing pretty well. I mean, we were way behind, but we were at least about to start keeping up with this engine, and that was exciting. On to the next one. I'm on the draw in round 4. There's 20 lands in my deck. On the draw, this represents a Surveil. Asmo is good. Street Wraith is a good draw. I'll try it. It's risky, obviously, but I'm playing a crazy off-meta deck. I'm going to take some risks. Fatal Push gives me some more action here. We're against another Verdant Catacomb strategy. This could just be because the deck is all Underground Seas. Great. Yep. For a moment, I hoped we were in a mirror match. Or something cool like it. Brainstorm. Other Catacombs. Okay, we're going for the fetch here. Take that Surveil. Malevolent Rumble to the graveyard. Okay, deck. I need you to deliver. Weird delivery, but not the worst thing that I could have had. Now the Street Wraith I draw next turn will be even better. And certainly they don't have Wasteland in their deck. Oh, we're playing against the Epic Storm. That's even worse. Well, I have no plan for this in the main deck. I have the 2 Thoughtseizes, and if they go all in on a Gaia's Will line, I have some Endurances, but none of those cards are currently in my hand. And this is not a deck that respects a large army of plant tokens. And they're going for it. Chrome Mox pitching Veil, Mox Opal, Lion's Eye Diamond. I guess if they echo here, there's a chance I spin into Endurance. Okay. Galvanic Relay just exiled the Gaia's Will, which would have been a clean line with Besiege. So that's a little awkward, but I think they still have what they need to figure it out. Okay, I drew a land. What do I do with this information? Nothing. Die. I think I'm just gonna pass with the option to loot into Currency Converter. Because, yeah, now even finding the Endurance doesn't matter because Gaia's Will's not a line they can play with. There goes Beseech the Mirror. Song of Creation. I don't have any outs to that, and they have one card in hand to make this party go, and a Veil in exile, so they have a draw 4 available. It's pretty hard to whiff on that. Beseiju was my out here, and it's not present. Dark Ritual, draw 2. Chrome Mox, draw 2. 6 cards in hand, 8 Storm. I'm good. We don't need to make them do it. Okay, Damping Sphere is part of my master plan. Force of Vigor can interact with some of their permanents. Fatal Push is out. I guess I have to bring in Endurance, literally, because it might do anything. There's no Collector Roof in my deck for the reason we saw last round, because that card kills me. And it's not a situation where maybe it's worse for them than it is for me. My deck just doesn't work with that card in play. All right, Currency Converter, 0 for 4. Macabre might be able to snipe and echo. I don't think I'm going to try to choke them. Nile Spellbomb plays. The Overlord seems really slow, but it's also the fastest way I can win a game if I just start attacking with that. Shave a Rumble and a Wraith. All right, I'll try this. Oh, okay. Well, if I could cheat, this is the hand I would pick. So let's keep it. Both of the Thoughtseizes I play into my most potent sideboard card. See if it's good enough. Thoughtseize, your 5-card hand. Running Wish, Brainstorm, Dark Ritual. What happens if I take Brainstorm? They can Dark Ritual, Burning Wish, not really do anything. I think Brainstorm's the take here, because that can change their hand the most and give them the most fresh options. If they find exactly Lion's Eye Diamond off the top, then they can echo here. But if they don't, and they didn't, I'm going to fetch a Bayou because they're not going to mess with my mana. And I will hopefully ruin their life. They've got Burning Wish that could wish for an answer to Sphere, but then it would be really hard for them to cast that answer to Sphere on the same turn because of Sphere. And then I Thoughtseize the thing they tutored for. We're going to see some Surveil land here. The Sewer. And they kept the card. Scary. They're probably looking for any red source that isn't Lotus Petal. And they delivered. Okay, just leaving up mana and passing. Veil of Summer would be pretty bad for me to occur here, but I do like Thoughtseize. Cool. All right, I'll take the Burning Wish. Hand is 2 Dark Rituals. That's what I was looking for, getting the Wish out of the way. That's their straight line to an answer to Damping Sphere. Now they got to figure it out another way. And in a board state like this, I am perfectly happy to just cast Ovalchase Daredevil as 4-2. 4 mana 4-2. Get the Surveil. Bayou, we'll take it. Cast my 4 mana 4-2 this turn. Then I can Force of Vigor their 2 artifacts on a future turn. I could do it now, but I don't want to pitch when I have 4 mana. And I don't think they can go off anyway. Red in the pool. Bomber, come on, chill. I just fought one of those off. Wear down. Destroy target artifact or enchantment. And they can gift me a card to do it twice. Okay. Daredevil. Do your thing. I'm just going to pass, because if they spend the turn wearing down my Damping Sphere, I could respond by forcing their 2 artifacts, and then they can't Dark Ritual this turn. They can't do it in response anyway. Okay, that's handled. 2 Dark Rituals, then some Mysteries over there. The second Daredevil is not better than leaving up Endurance. Because the cleanest win... Oh shit, I just clicked through Thoughtseize. My brain was like, Dark Ritual's fine. I should have Endurance there. Whoops. Busy narrating instead of playing the game. Okay, I'm going to Rumble. Fair Macabre Cookbook Beseiju. Besiegeing their lands doesn't matter. The Graveyard Hate matters against Beseech for Song. Fair and Macabre matters against Beseech for Will, so either way they could play around it, and this is face up. I'm just going to take a cookbook and get my engine online. I drew Asmo. Let's just put damage into play. They would be at 1 if I didn't click through that Thoughtseize like a Jagoff. 1's a lot less than 4 when we're talking about a deck with fetch lands in it. Okay, got away with it. Awkward misclick, but it's alright. Okay, they know what my hate is now, Damping Sphere and Thoughtseize. I have Graveyard Hate in, and they have seen it in the form of both Endurance and Macabre, which means they might prioritize winning through not the graveyard, which means Haywire Might is another answer to the song. Straight Wraith is just more looks at my limited number of good cards. I could probably shave a Roots here. Even Asmo's not that good. Okay, I'm going to save a Roots and an Overlord. Okay, let's try it. Okay, I have Endurance, and I can start cooking the books right away. Opponent went to 5. If it's LED Echo, it doesn't matter. Chrome Mox, Abrupt Decay, LED, Opal. Very likely that they're gonna float a mana, then Echo. And me without a Force of Vigor here. So they're gonna get to Echo. Okay, off we go. Endurancing doesn't do anything except build Storm. Their owner is a Saga. That's scary. Vexing Bauble. Now Endurance doesn't work. Oh no. Okay. Hope to hit an untapped Black Source? No such luck. Mortuary. And I'll pass. Maybe I was supposed to hold that Street Wraith just so I could guarantee Asmo on next turn. Alright, well. They were going to turn on my Asmo with Thoughtseize anyway. Sucker. Alright, immediately cashing in the Bauble for a card so they could start playing their own zeros. Brainstorm. Petal. Storm is 4. LED. Storm is 5. Another Echo. That's the plan. We're taking a spin. Okay, I drew another Fistful of Nothing. They're still casting Rituals. Bad news. Bloodstained Mire. They can Beseech with this mana. They can Tendrils with this mana. They can cast Song of Creation with the Lotus Petal. Burning Wish for Xaxes, or are we going to keep going? Okay, I'm dead. Yep. Not being able to collect your oof is rough. I could have some Veil of Summers in the sideboard, I guess. I am basically never gonna build my sideboard super intentionally for Storm. It's just not that popular in the metagame. But obviously, when you run into something like this and you don't even mind Break Traps, it looks really bad. On to the final round. On the draw for the final round, and I've got a turn 1 Asmo. We keep these. A Flooded Strand, that might be good news. Give me a slow, grindy matchup that lets me set up and get incremental advantage over time. That's what I want in life. Or we could just heckin' die to Sapwood Breakfast. Oh, maybe I'm not heckin' dead. Breakfast doesn't really lose to Endurance because the trick is they have Cabal Therapy that can force the action on the Endurance before they commit the Dread Return. And then if you Endurance in response, they just mill their whole deck again because their combo can go twice. It's one of the strengths of what they're doing over there. They would have to fully commit to the Dread Return with no protection for Endurance to actually beat them. And even then, they just don't combo, but their deck goes back into their deck. They have access to all their Narcomoeba still, and they can still do whatever else the deck does, especially the Nadu builds. All right, looking for a Daredevil. Found an Urborg. Okay, I think I have to play 2 cookbooks out because having 2 foods with Asmo actually does check this deck pretty hard. Should have attacked. Just busy narrating. You're at 16. Go. Okay, going for Illusionist here. I'm going to discard Urborg. And I think it's Roots. And I'll go after the Nomad. They could just go land Nomad here, and I lose to that too. But I can't beat the Illusionist with Nomad on board. If it was Shuko, I would have waited for them to equip it. Okay. Oh, Fatal Push. Good draw. Good draw. But push it real good. Okay, Nadu confirmed. They didn't daze me last turn, and they had the win if they did. So I'm going to play like they don't have daze. I'm going to impend this thing and hope it mills over a Daredevil. Okay, we're in. I'd like to use the ability, and there are 2 Street Wraiths here. I'll take one of them. Cycle it. Daredevil? Nope. All right. I can delete my hand to kill another creature, which is a good fallback to have, but obviously this would have been so much better with Daredevil. Savannah, at 3 mana, they could do something like cast Nadu, or they could present the whole combo over again. Nadu, you're in there. Can I draw a Daredevil? Drew an Endurance. I could just discard 2 things here, or I could fetch for the Mire. I think I'm going to play the land and pass. I don't want to discard these cards. Endurance works if it has to. There's a Saga, so 2 turns from now there will be a Shuko in play, if not sooner. Fudge. I will fetch first. Mortuary, please flip a Daredevil. Swamp into the graveyard, alright. Well, sucks to suck, here we go. Dumping 2 Endurances. Kill this thing, which will flip a card on itself. They flip Misty Rainforest. If they have another Nadu or another Illusionist, I'm just dead here. Fingers on the concede button. Alright, well, I guess I will let you have your hundreds of flips, and then see if I draw Daredevil for my turn. Brainstorm, Thassa's Oracle. Flooded Strand. Fetching that immediately. Prismatic Ending, that kills Asmo. Now I can't possibly win. Narcomoeba, okay. They didn't Prismatic Ending. They're going for more flips instead. There's Illusionist, so I'm dead next turn. And they can flip 6 more times when we get to my turn. But that doesn't matter, because what I'm doing isn't spells. Oh my god. Okay, I guess I'll pass the turn. You were 1 card short. You were the chosen one. In response to this activation, I will make a food. Okay, I'm daring the devil here. This actually just doesn't work because they can move all the damage from Nomad onto Narcomoeba. Yeah, I'm just dead. Okay. It's over. Okay. Macabre comes in, Choke comes in, Edict comes in, Pithing Needle, Currency Converter. The full Ophir sweep, reverse sweep, just not even good. Rumble, I actually don't think Endurance is even worth the slot. It doesn't beat any of their stuff in combat and doesn't actually affect their game plan. Roots is a little slow. Maybe this Finale's no good, but Asmo is the best thing going on against this deck that I have. Maybe it's an Overlord. Alright. Let's try it. Just a Daredevil away from being functional that last game, which is the story of playing food at all times in all formats. I will keep this, and I'm just going to play Cookbook and pass. I'm not going to cycle this Wraith until a turn where I'm actually going to cast Asmo. Island Ponder. Great choice of islands. Great choice of opening play as well. Let's start getting some foods in the bank. Asmo's in here somewhere. Bayou. I think I play Overlord here. Impend this. Get back another Daredevil. Why not? Another Ponder. Shuffle the Ponder. It's very early to be shuffling a Ponder. All those cards in hand and not one of the things in the Ponder was good for you? Interesting. More food in the bank. Another Cookbook. I guess I can cycle Wraith now because it doesn't matter. I have so many discard outlets. I guess with food in play, with the Cookbook in play, I should have cycled the Wraith before I played the Overlord, or at least before its trigger resolved. Like after it resolved in response to its trigger, that guarantees at least a redraw instead of a redundant Daredevil. Yeah, I could have done that better. But what else is new? Okay, they got 6 cards in hand and didn't play any spells. Mortuary. I will keep Fatal Push. It is useful interaction in the matchup, even if it's not immediately super relevant. But the cool thing about the Overlord is eventually it's a creature. Okay, pass, tick down to 2 time counters. Impending counters? What are these? They are time counters. Cool. Brainstorm. That changes everything. Okay, they just played a land. They could be setting up a Teferi plus win line, which is one of the reasons Cephalid Breakfast is so good. A handful of removal doesn't beat a Teferi. Street Wraith. Let's take a look. Find me something. Hey, it found me something. We're in business. Something is happening. It might not actually be good, but something has occurred. Okay. She's ready to sling so much food. This actually does still not beat Teferi because Teferi bounces her. And, of course, against Swords of Plowshare. No surprise there. They've been sitting on all those cards forever. I guess I could have sacked 2 foods to deal damage to itself, and then it's in the graveyard rather than in exile, which is better, and my life total doesn't matter. Okay, they're casting a wizard. I'm going to Fatal Push to play around Daze, and if they have Force of Will, they win. Fudge. Oh, I didn't leave up 3 mana. I didn't have to play out the 3rd cookbook. Yeah, that was probably a spew. This is the only place you can still reasonably play Nadu. Can't blame them for trying. There's the Teferi I've been worried about the whole game. Lotus Petal, aggressive. Okay, so Asmo should have dealt 6 to herself in response to Plow, and then I should not have played out the 3rd cookbook, so I had double removal available. Bouncing my Overlord before it can fully impend. Disrespectful. Might as well make my foods. They can flip 4 more cards on my turn. Good draw? Not a good draw. That might be a good draw. I am going to Overlord of the Bailmark and see if I can flip an Asmo here. Asmo. This would get back Asmo if I had played correctly the first time. And get back a Street Wraith. Emergency Dig. Well, Sheoldred's Edict is what I want to do here. I guess I just have to. Each opponent sacrifices a non-token creature. We get either the Nomad or the Nadu here. They can flip 4 in response. If they find an Illusionist or a replacement Nomad or a Force of Will, they win. That's a brick. That's going to be really good eventually. Prismatic Ending. That's the same thing as Pithing Needle. Last flip. Okay, unless they play a Dryad Arbor, we're going to get one of these things here. Oh no. Brainstorm. Unknown card in their hand was Brainstorm. That's a bunch more looks. Okay, they kept Nadu over Nomad. Cool. All right, I'm good. We don't need to keep doing that. And that was Golgari Food. This deck, obviously, like we got to see both ends of the spectrum here, which is that when it's popping off, this is awesome. Just kill every creature they make. You have basically infinite life. Your board is just growing and growing and growing, and it's all just so free. The Tortured Existence was awesome, the games where it showed up. But then there is the other side of asking A, B, and C with options on D or E to all show up and resolve and stay and play for a while in a game of Legacy is a lot to ask. This deck would probably be better if it was just a Reanimator deck. Just play for Reanimate for Archon of Cruelty and give yourself an eject button. But I specifically didn't want to do that, just to showcase something else. You could also tune the deck differently to fight different things. Like you could just play 4 Thoughtseize, but deck space is really tight here. You could tune up your Urza Saga package to fight what you want to fight. You could have Veil of Summer in the board. You could just register Collector Roof and be like, whatever, I'm not going to activate Cookbook this game, though I think that's terrible. You could add some colors. If you want to make this Bug or Abzan, those are things you could do. I actually started this brew challenge with a 4-color version that had Shark Typhoon and Staff of the Storyteller in it to really lean in on the token theme, but couldn't actually fit it all in a deck. That's for someone else on a different day. Everybody, thanks for watching. Be sure to like, comment, subscribe, check out the Patreon, order some cards from cardtrader.com, and I will see you next time.